Hey, what's up, guys? It's nice to see you today. I was just taking a gander at the YouTube and looking around, looking at various videos and things like that. I thought I would go over my morning breakfast and basically some principles that I learned to live by for the sake of and the art of bodybuilding itself. Bodybuilding, that is. Um, the first thing is I've learned not to take supplements. Um, I don't take supplements anymore. I don't take creatine. I don't take whey protein. I don't take beta alanine. Any of those supplements, pre-workout. I like to base all of my gains and all of my bodybuilding diet and things I take in, I like to base them off of food. So, for example, I set a $100 budget for grocery shopping every week. That's enough to eat as much as I want to get bigger and bigger, because I just started bulking a few days ago. Check out the picture over here. I'll show you guys what I mean.
Sever every tie, untangle every lie. Your words don't mean anything.
And yeah, that's me, like a few days into a bulk. Um, I basically go to the gym 3 days a week. I do 5 to 6, maybe 7 different of what is preferably a compound movement. Sometimes I will isolate down to dumbbell curls. It's probably the most isolated movement I'll do, but I like to do it and keep it to a minimum. The isolated movements. I like compound movements because they trigger the most muscle growth, but they also trigger the most. The compound movements will trigger those growth hormones a lot more effectively than an isolated movement. But for the sake of like exercise, sometimes I'll throw in a compound movement when I want to do an isolated movement. But the isolated movements I keep to a bare minimum. You know, I like to do compound movements because they feel better. I feel like I'm expending energy better and that kind of thing. So that's one of the principles I live by. Is I'm living off of basically food rather than supplements, and plenty of food at that too. All the foods I need for bulking, basically, that kind of thing. And you just heard my other principle, my second principle, which is to try and stand by compound movements in the gym. My third principle is a very deep secret I have. Now, I've always had quite stocky, quite thick legs, and it's led to me not working out my lower body as much in the traditional method where I would do squats, leg press, you know, those kinds of exercises is how I see it. As I gain weight and as I gain upper body strength, all of the walking I do ever throughout the day balances out, and I end up with just the right size legs, but also I end up being a whole lot more functional rather than, you know, focusing on a leg day and triggering those growth hormones in my legs and just ending up with oversized legs. You know, I don't want that. I don't want to be oversized in the lower body. I want to have a kind of like a, you know, like a down to the V-taper kind of thing. Anyways, I leave the leg workouts to walking. I find walking happens to be quite an effective leg workout, so that's how that goes. So, you know, it's just one of those days. What did I eat today? I woke up, knocked back a coffee with some milk. Then I took a stroll down to the local department store, bought a couple of Rockstar tropical guavas with all the sugar in there and stuff, and I'm actually drinking my second Rockstar tropical guava right now. And so what have I had? 2 Rockstars with sugar. Then I ate a bowl of noodles with like a whole bunch of kimchi on there. And what I like about spicy noodles and spicy foods like kimchi is they're good for your stomach and gut, but also it just feels great to digest spicy food. It's great. After that, I had a bowl of oats. Now I tried to put a lot of oats in there. I also put a lot of raisins in there for the sweetener. I put some raisins in there, and that's good overall. So to clarify, I am currently signed up for the bronze membership at the Olympic gym, just a couple minutes away from where I live, and I go 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is quite different from how I used to train, which I would try and train different body parts almost every single day, maybe take one day off, a Sunday maybe, and I found that was too much overload for my body. I did gain size from that, I did lose weight from that, but I, however, did not find that very sustainable. 3 days a week at the gym, about 45 minutes each session, doing 5 to 6 to 7 different exercises, about 3 to 4 sets per exercise, anywhere between 6 and 12 reps for maximum muscular hypertrophy. And yeah, I'm a firm believer in the concept of eat big, get big. You eat big, you're going to get big. But if you eat nothing but junk food, and you don't work out, you don't exercise, you're just going to get fat and lazy. So you don't want to end up fat and lazy. You want to end up big and stocky and strong and healthy, So I thought I would summarize today's video with a little something. I decided to buy some books the other day, actually, and these are the books here. Well, there's one magazine in there, but it's a car magazine, pure interest, that kind of thing. We've got one book named Cocaine, we've got Testosterone, the Chinese proverb, we've got the Autocar January 2016 magazine, and we've got the Italian Cooking Encyclopedia. Now, the reason I bought books, and I did get them from a secondhand store, a hospice shop, and got them for a great price. Some books, one of the books must be like 50 cents, maybe the other two are like $1 each, something like that. For the Italian Cooking Encyclopedia, it was only like $5, $7, something like that. And yeah, the reason I own those books is because every time I look at my books or I go to read them, I feel like I'm figuring things out and learning things that are helpful, not only to my life, not only to my living situation, my physical and mental health, but also bodybuilding and making YouTube videos in general. So, peace out, guys. We'll end the video about there, and I'll just let you guys know that I am a gamer. I do play video games. I try to keep it to a minimum, but I do play video games when possible. I try not to let it take over my life anymore, and I'm a firm believer in going to the gym, exercising, eating the right kind of diet for your goals, Some of my favorite exercises are bench press, incline bench press, cable pull downs for the triceps, dumbbell curls, seated row. I like to use the chest press machine and the shoulder press machine. I like compound movements basically, aside from the dumbbell curls, you know. And I like to lift reasonably heavy, enough weight to bust out between 6 and 12 reps at a sustained volume. You know, eat like a monster and you look like a monster, so whatever, I guess. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying this drink. I've been watching YouTube video after YouTube video. Sometimes that spark of inspiration will hit me and I'll make a YouTube video like I am now for YouTube, obviously. And you've had a great time overall, and I firmly believe in lifting, eating, resting, staying hydrated, and sleeping, and repeating that. So here again, here's the pics of me a few days into my current bulk.
Don't tell me everything is alright.
I know. That's how I look now, you know, without a shirt. And it's something I'm learning to become proud of, is how I look without my shirt, you know. We won't go into much more. You know, I'll just note that during my childhood and early teenage years, I was quite a skinny kid, but as I got older, I gained weight. You know, I learned to get bigger by eating more and lifting heavy weights, and that seems to have helped. So, peace out, guys. Hope you had a good one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Joey Phoenix out, and just remember, stay safe, stay humble, but also maybe notice that life itself has a lot more in store for it. You has a lot more in store for you than what you think, and that's how I find things beginning to play out for me. So peace out and have fun.